In this lesson, let's talk about HDR, and let's do quickly one HDR type of image. Now, I've got the mini bridge open. You don't really have to do it this way, but you have these 5 images inside your bridge or inside your exercise folder, wherever you're going to go. And we're going to open these 5. Now, if you're in mini bridge, we can do this. I can click on this one, and I can shift click on this one way over here, and actually just drag them up. Why not? Looks like a deck of cards, doesn't it? These are raw images, so we will be opening up in RAW. Now, these images were taken for a magazine cover for a yoga magazine, and I wanted it to be dramatic, a little bit more than one photograph. So I got the fire in the background, the candle in the front, and the singing bowls and all that kind of stuff up front too. I couldn't get one photo that really did what I thought was justice to the image I wanted. So I tried, HDR. HDR does what? It increases the dynamic range of what you see in a photograph, just kind of like our eyes do. When we move around with our eyes, our iris opens and closes, kind of like f-stop on a camera, and we see more or less based on how our eye reacts to the situation. Film doesn't really do that. I shoot more than one photograph. Each one of these photos was shot at a different exposure. Okay, not f-stop, okay, exposure, because if you change the f-stop, you're changing depth of focus. You want to keep the f-stop alone. It needs to be on a tripod because you don't want things moving. It's going to have to put them all together. So let's do this. I'm going to come up here and click here. Actually, just select all is fine. It's got a button for it. Might as well use it. And say open the images. They're ready. So it's going to open these images inside of Photoshop. Give it a second. And let's do this. Double click on Mini Bridge tab right here, and that'll collapse it for us. And then I can kind of do something like that so we can see these a little bit better. I want to combine all of these into one dynamic range image. So I have them open. They don't really have to be, but they need to be, if at all possible, raw images, because raw images have more data. They don't have to be, but they should. So with the images open, or you know where they are, doesn't matter, go up to the word File on the pull-down menu and go down to Automate and get into Merge to HDR Pro. Now it says, where are they? We know where they are. Add open files. But we could get them out of a folder. You don't have to do it by opening them. That's not necessary. You could browse and find them. Click Add. Now, one of the options you have is attempt to automatically align source images. I would strongly recommend that you try that. It will do it for you. Now, if you don't, it's going to give you these, in our case, 5 images, and make you align them. At least give it a shot. Click OK, and let it process. Now, if you get a warning that basically says something like, these aren't raw images, you should go back and get the raw ones. If you don't have them, just click through that, say OK. So it's going to process, it's going to open them up in HDR Pro. And here we are. Now the 5 images are on the bottom. Your first choice, if you want to do this, is decide if maybe one or more of them are not necessary to the image itself. You can turn them off down here. Oh, incidentally, these are raw images. The information on how the photograph was taken was captured by the camera in Photoshop Reddit. If, for whatever reason, your images don't have that information, you will have to provide on each image the shutter speed and the f-stop. And if you don't know that, you can't guess at it. So it's good if you have that information because basically it allows you to do this. Let's look at some of our options. And like I said, we cover this in more detail in our course on HDR. But you do have some presets up here. Different ones we could try. You've got City Twilight. This one's kind of interesting here. It's called Scott 5. Adds a kind of detail look. Now, sometimes what I do is I'll work with one of these up here to get a start and then modify it from that point forward, which is what I think I'm going to do here. Now, if you click this button right here, you can save your own. So if you play around with these options and you get something that you really like and you want to remember it, you can save it and come back to it. Let's start with Edge Glow. Actually, no. Let's start with Remove Ghosts. What are those? Those are areas in the image that move from frame to frame, and we got flame going on and things are moving. When you remove ghosts, this is interesting. What you do is you decide which one of these has the flames you want, and it tries to remove the other ones. So if I click on, say, this one, that changes it. I kind of like that one. I'm going to stick with that. That's remove ghosts. Now we have an edge glow right here. And if we click right here and move it, we can increase the glow. Kind of an interesting look. We can change the strength. Now this bowl over here is over 100 years old. I want it to look old too. So doing things like this can sometimes add a bit of contrast and maybe even a look of age to something. You have edge smoothness, which in my case I don't think I really want to use, but it smooths things out. Down here on tone and detail, your basic gamma, lightening and darkening, exposure. Stop right about there. And then detail. Now, if I take detail all the way here, you get this very soft image. I don't want that much detail, but I do want a lot of detail. So I'm going to go to about 250. Do you ever try to do this, but you can't get the number you want? Don't forget, if you're in that box, that means it's in focus. You can use your up and down arrow keys. And if you hold the shift key down, you can go 10 at a time. So if I can't get 250, I can get it that way. Now, in advanced, you have shadow and highlights. But the cool thing about what we're doing is you're working with the shadow information on 5 photographs. Not just 1, 5. So if I want more details or less, I can come here, and you can see I'm starting to get more detail in those areas. Same thing with highlights. If you want more or less. Now, vibrance is the overall vibrancy of the colors, okay? Not saturation. Saturation balances RGB color channels to produce a shade of gray. Vibrance changes the vibrancy, the energy of the color. So if we go this way with it, we get more vibrance. We go this way, we get less. Let's go to about there, and I'm going to bump up the saturation just a little bit more. Now we have one more area, curve. And this is very similar to the curve you would find in Photoshop. This is the one set by our default that we started with. Now I'm going to remove this point right here. Just pull it off until it goes away. I'm going to work with this one right here now. And as you can see, what happens is it will either increase or decrease overall contrast in the image. And I want something about like that. The beauty of this is, of course, we're not really destroying the original images. If you come back tomorrow and say, gee, I really don't like this, no big deal. You can start again. Now, I like it. I don't like it enough maybe to save it as a preset, but if I wanted to, I could. I'm just going to go ahead and click OK down here. And there you go. Now, I'll tell you what. Let's end this lesson, but we are going to use this image in the next lesson. So let's go up to the word File and go down to Save. Now, you can save it anywhere you want. I'm going to save it under Bowls, or that's the name I'm going to give it. And I think I'm going to go into my desktop and go into the images for Chapter 13 and put it right in there. Click Save. Now, you can close it, or you can just leave it open if you're going right to the next lesson. You don't have to have these open, so you can close those.